All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is April 19th. We got a jam-packed slate of MLB action today. We're gonna jump into each and every game. I'll give you my leans on the game, but my final plays, what I'm actually going to be rolling with, those will be in the pinned comment, guys. I update that throughout the day, always in by game time, so make sure to check that out. We're coming off of a 3-2 night. We remain profitable here. We're absolutely on fire. We had the Rays money line that cashes. The Yankees money line does not come through, but the Braves and the Pirates do as well. And then the Mets Dodgers, I really did like that over. That didn't come through. Ends up being a 5-0 game. But let's jump into today's slate, guy. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you don't mind, and hit that like button. You guys ran up the likes, 250 plus likes on yesterday's video. You guys are absolutely absurd. I cannot thank you guys enough for the most recent support. I've been saying that in a lot of videos, but it's like each and every day more and more happens, and you guys just show your support for the channel, so I cannot thank you guys enough for that. So yeah, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, keep an eye on the pinned comment throughout the day. Let's jump into this first one. We got the Reds taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Cincinnati here plus 185 at home. The total is sitting at 10 runs, which does surprise me and also doesn't surprise me at the same time, if I'm being completely honest. Yesterday, Tampa Bay wins this game 10-0, but game one of this series, Cincinnati kind of surprisingly won 8-1. I do think that obviously the Rays should be favorites here. Rasmussen's on the mound for them. He's 2-1 in the season with a 2.6 ERA, but their money line odds are very, very bad. -217. Their run line odds I don't even like either, -1.5. So it honestly comes down to me almost thinking the only possible lean on this game would be Reds money line, just from the money perspective. I don't think I'm going to roll with that. I don't necessarily like it, but what I do like in this game is the under. I think Vegas is kind of overreacting to 2 games here. I think this one sticks a little bit lower scoring, you know, right around that, I guess, 8-7, 8, maybe I'd say 8-9 mark. We have a total at 10 right now, so there is opportunity there. So I'm going to lean towards the under, and again, very, very slight lean towards the Reds money line just because of the plus money. I don't really like that. I don't think it's the probable outcome. Moving on, we got the Marlins taking on the Giants here. Marlins even money at home on the money line. Total is sitting at 8 runs right now. Rogers on the mound for the Marlins. He's 1-2 on the season with a 4.2 ERA. And then Cobb on the mound for the Giants. He's a 3.14 ERA with an 0-1 record. Yesterday's game, another game that kind of surprised me here. You know, Marlins bouncing back from, what was it, the first game of the series. They had won 4-3, and then they go and win 4-2. I guess I should have said bouncing back. This is a team that, this San Francisco team, goes up and down in my brain, but they've lost like 8 out of their last 10 games, not playing very good baseball, and the Marlins have won 7 of their last 10. So my brain's really racked with this series. I will say I think this is a good spot for the Giants here. Obviously, they haven't won many games, but I do like Cobb on the mound for them. You're getting decent odds here, -107 on the money line. So I'm going to lean towards the Giants money line here. In terms of a total 8 runs, I do think that this one sticks just under as well. So I'm going to lean towards the under here, which, you know, when I say just under, I'm probably I'm predicting, I guess, 7.5 runs here. So just about under, but it's definitely a doable one. I don't know how much I love the under in that one. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. Again, that's what I'm most confident in, what I'm actually rolling with. All right, moving on, we got the Tigers taking on the Guardians here. Tigers plus 128 at home on the money line. Total is at 8.5. The Tigers took game 1 of this series 4-3. Guardians didn't even score a run yesterday. The Tigers only scored 1 run, and they win that one. I do think that this is a spot for the Guardians. You're getting them at -135 if you want. You got Quantrill on the mound for them. He's not having the best year. 5.74 ERA, 0-1 on this season here. Spencer Turnbull on the mound for the Tigers, 1-2 with a 9 ERA. I think they get to him today. I think this is a good little bounce back spot for Cleveland, who has lost 3 in a row. Their last game of the series against Washington, and then 2 games against Detroit here. Whereas Detroit, you know, after losing a bunch of games, they've won 5 games in a row. Last game against Toronto, they swept their mini series against San Francisco, and now they're already up 2-0 in this series against the Guardians. I don't think they go up 3-0 in this series. I'm going to lean towards the Guardians here. And then in terms of a total, we're finally getting to a game that I do think could go over this mark. I'm going to lean slightly towards the over. If someone was on the under in this game in the comments, I wouldn't knock you for it. I don't think that this is a definite over type game, especially when we've seen, you know, a 1-0 game already in this series. So I am going to lean towards the over, but it's a very, very slight lean. All right, St. Louis taking on Arizona here. St. Louis at home, minus 180 on the money line. Total sitting at 9 runs right now. 9.5 runs. We have 10 on the graphic, but I've seen most sports books update to 9.5, so that is what we're going off of. Yesterday, Arizona gets the job done. 8-7 was the final score, and we've already seen Arizona win this one. We had them plus money, 2 nights ago. They won 6-3 for plus 145 odds. Bumgarner's on the mound for them here today. He's 0-2 in the season with a 7.9 ERA. Woodford's on the mound for the Cardinals, also 0-2 in the season, 5.65 ERA. This is a tricky one because I do think that the St. Louis team is better than the Diamondbacks. Not that the series would have shown that thus far, but you have St. Louis at minus 180. That doesn't really seem too valuable to me, so I am going to look at either Arizona run line or Arizona money line in this game in terms of my side lean. And then in terms of the total, again, you get it on 10 on some sportsbooks. Most sportsbooks have moved to 9.5. But either way, I do like the over. So sportsbooks are moving in the way that I like to see, so I'm going to lean towards the over in this one. All right, the Royals are taking on the Rangers here. Singer on the mound for the Royals, 1-1 in the season with 7.88 ERA. The Royals are 4-14 right now. Perez on the mound for the Rangers. He's 2-1 with a 2.87 ERA on the season. They are 11-6. Yesterday's game went just about according to plan, like we kind of thought it would. This series actually has gone pretty much according to plan thus far. Obviously, this is the second series that these two teams have played, but Texas has won both games in this latest series, 4-0 and then 12-2 yesterday. That was one of our leans. I wish we pulled the trigger on it, but the money just wasn't really there. Now you have the Royals here actually as home favorites. They're minus 110 at home here. The total is sitting at 9 runs. I do think that this Royals team, obviously, we've seen when they get beat up a couple times, they bounce back and win the next few games, but I think this Texas team is very much underrated. So I'm going to lean towards the Rangers here for even odds on the money line at on the road here. And then in terms of a total, I do like the over as well. Again, when we keep getting these single-digit totals for Texas games, I have no fear in taking the over because they're, every other game scoring double digits themselves in terms of runs. So I do like the over in this one very much. And I like Texas very much. I like that spot. All right, moving on, we got the White Sox taking on the Phils here. White Sox plus 101, at home on the money line. Total is sitting at 8.5 right now. This Phillies team has been one of the more, I guess you could say, inconsistent teams that we've seen all season long. When I say all season long, 3 weeks into the season, but seriously, they're scoring 0 runs, 14 runs, 0 runs. They're all over the place. White Sox not necessarily as inconsistent, but just as inconsistent when it comes to winning baseball games here. But I do think that this is a good spot for them today. They have Clevenger on the mound here. He's 2-0 with a 2.2 ERA on the season. And I think you're getting decent odds here going up against Walker, who's 1-1 with a 4.2 ERA. So I'm going to lean towards the White Sox in this one. You can also look at their run line plus 1.5. I do think that that's kind of crappy odds at minus 150, but if you do think they're going to keep this game close, which not many Philly games have been kept close as of late, so if I'm taking the White Sox, I'm taking the underdog at home regardless of run line here. Then in terms of the total, I do think this one hits the over, not by all that much, probably just 9 runs or so. Not all that confident in the over, but I do think that this is an over lean for sure. All right, moving on. Next game up, we got Colorado taking on the Pirates here. The Rockies plus 110 at home here. Total is at 11.5 runs. This is one of the games we cashed yesterday. We did have Pittsburgh on the money line that cashed. Gomber on the mound for the Rockies. He's 0-3 on the season with an 8.16 ERA. Oviedo on the mound for the Pirates here, 1-1 on the season, 2.45 ERA. I don't know much about either of these pitchers, to be completely honest, just numbers and what I'm seeing with numbers. But Pittsburgh has won 2 straight here, and one of them in commanding fashion, 14-3. The other game was they down. I think they were down like 2-0 or 3-1 or something like that last night, and had to come back and win. So they've kind of already shown that they can go box to wire and sort of grind and come back. I do think I'm going to lean Pittsburgh again. This is another one of those games that I wouldn't be all that shocked if Colorado wins. So if you are on Colorado in the comments, don't take what I'm saying to heart. Take it with a grain of salt and know that that still is a fair pick. But I'm going to lean Pittsburgh here on the money line, minus 120-ish on sportsbooks here. I think that that is some good value. And then in terms of the total, I like the under again as well. I know we had a 12.5 under yesterday, and we cashed that in terms of a lean. Now we're looking at 11.5. I still do think that this is an under. And before you guys jump to the, oh, but it's Colorado, like there's going to be a lot of runs. Fine, I know that. That can always happen, right? But baseball still needs to be played. The ball needs to get in the air for it to, matter about the altitude and whatnot. All right, moving on. We got the Dodgers taking on the Mets. Syndergaard on the mound for the Dodgers. Max Scherzer on the mound for the Mets. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. Dodgers plus 113 here at home on the money line. Total is at 8.5. Yesterday's game, Dodgers won 5-0. Again, we had the over in that game. It did not come through for us. I do think this is a good spot for the Dodgers. The Mets kind of went on a win streak. They won 4 or 5 games in a row, actually. Dodgers have been kind of rocky as one of the better teams in the league, at least in my opinion. They really haven't been playing like it, but the fact that you can get them at plus money here at home today, I do like. I know Scherzer's on the mound for the Mets. I like him, obviously, but I think this is a good spot for the Dodgers in terms of money. Then in terms of a total, with these pitchers on the mound, I'm going to look at the under as well. All right, we got Chicago Chicago traveling to Oakland, even though they're already there. Plus 160 on the money line here for the home team, Oakland. Total is at 8 runs right now. The Chicago team should be able to do whatever they want with this Oakland team. 4-0 yesterday. The day before, 10-1. Even looking back in the past, they've been crushing Oakland. Oakland's not a good ball club, obviously. In terms of money here, though, you're going to be paying a lot if you are on Chicago money line. Minus 170-ish on sportsbooks. Even their run line is kind of tough, just about even odds. So I don't necessarily love that. I'm probably sticking away from a side in this game. But what I do like, again, that total is sitting at 8 runs right now. I do not hate the over in this game. Just ever so slightly, but I don't hate the over in this game whatsoever. All right, we got the Padres taking on the Braves here. Padres plus 110 at home. Total is sitting at 9 runs right now. Braves is one of the teams that we cashed with yesterday. They won 8-1. We also cashed the day before. They won 2-0. We've been absolutely cashing this Braves win streak. They've won 8 games in a row, and I don't see any reason why we have to stop the train right now. Charlie Morton on the mound. I do like him. He's a 3.86 ERA, 2-1 on the season, and you're getting Braves at minus 117. So yes, there's going to be a time where we can't just keep betting Braves the money line. I totally get it. But we'll do that until the wheels fall off. They've made us so much money as of late, and they do look like a powerhouse. They're winning close games. They're blowing teams out. They're winning games where they, only score 2 runs, and the defense and pitching has to step up. Like, this is a team that looks well put together as of right now. The only caveat, and they're still playing the Padres, so I don't fear that, but I will say and will admit, their last 2 series, Cincinnati in Kansas City. So there is something to be said for their strength of series and strength of schedule as of right now. But nonetheless, they're still in this series with the Padres, who I do think that they are better than. In terms of a total, again, we're looking at a total of 9. I think this one actually stays under, probably around 8 runs or so. All right, the Mariners are hosting the Brewers here. Mariners minus 125 on the money line at home. Total is sitting at 8.5 runs. This Brewers team is a quiet 13-5 on the season. They have Lauer on the mound, 2-1 with a 5.2 ERA. Marco Gonzalez on the mound for the Mariners here, 4.2 ERA with a 1-0 record on the season. Yesterday, the Brewers win this game 6-5. Game 1, they win 7-3. They have been impressing me. Like I said, the other night when we cashed them for like plus 145 money line dogs against, I think it was San Diego they won. Maybe it was more plus 155, something like that. They really impressed me. They've been impressing me pretty much all season long. Their bats can get hot, but then also their pitching will come out of nowhere and have a really good pitching night. Like some of these recent scores, Milwaukee winning 6-5, 7-3. Then they win 1-0 against San Diego. They win, 7-1 against Arizona a few games back. They're kind of all over the place in a good way, and I do like them again tonight as underdogs here. Plus 117 on the money line. I don't hate that whatsoever. In terms of a total 8.5, I think this one sticks right around that number, to be completely honest. I can't tell you with a straight face if I think it's going to be an 8-run or 9-run game, which figures that this is an 8.5 total. So if anything, I would do like an alternate total down to 8, play a little bit of juice, because I think this one probably gets to 9 runs here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it hits on 8, so at least we can have the chance of a push and doesn't kill us. All right, we got the LA Angels taking on the New York Yankees here. Yankees at home, minus 128. Total is sitting at 9 runs right now. This Yankees team, 10-7 on the season. Berto's on the mound for them, 2-1 on the year. Canning's on the mound. He's got a 3.6 ERA. Angels are 9-8 on the season. The Yankees coming off of a decent series against Minnesota, but then they lose game 1 yesterday against this Angels team 5-2. Again, we were on the wrong side of that. We had Yankees money line, but I think we bounced back tonight, and this is a good spot for them. I do like them at -128. I think that's fair odds there. In terms of a total, this one really, honestly, if I'm being completely frank, I went absolutely back and forth on. This is just like the last game. 8.5 just seems like there are 9 runs here, but 8.5 to the 9 to 9.5 runs seems like a perfect sharp line for this. I'm gonna lean towards the under because I think this one stays 8 below, but again, you can tell, and I don't want to bullshit you guys. I want to be transparent when I don't feel ultra confident in a pick, and it truly is just a lean. That's kind of where we're at with this one, so I'm gonna lean towards the under ever so slightly. All right, next game. I know we don't have the odds or the total in the graphic, but we do have we don't have the odds in the graphic, but we also don't have an updated line here. But let's just assume that Baltimore is a favorite in this game. Bradish on the mound for them, Gore on the mound for the Nationals. Yesterday's game, Baltimore won 1-0, which is very surprising in game 1 of this series. This Baltimore team has won 4 of their last 5 games. They've won 2 straight. I'm going to lean towards them if the money isn't all that bad. And then let's just assume, I guess, that this has the same total as yesterday, which ended at 9. I like the under in this one as well. But again, keep an eye on the pinned comment. We don't have updated odds for that as of right now. Super early in the morning when we're recording this. Right, the Red Sox hosting the Twins here. Corey Kluber on the mound. He's 0-3 with a 6.9 ERA. Yikes. Ryan on the mound for the Twins. Having a good year. 3-1 with a 2.8 ERA. 3-0. I think I said 3-1 with a 2.8 ERA. Yesterday, Red Sox take this one 5-4. This Red Sox team, you know, I'm a Red Sox fan, so I watch most of their games. They've looked good as of late. They only dropped 1 game against the Angels. It was when Brian Bayo pitched against Shohei Ohtani, so I think we expected that, but they won 4 of their last 5 games. They took the game against Minnesota. I think you're getting decent odds here, plus 116. Now, Corey Kluber has stunk out loud this season. I can admit that, but I do think that plus, 116, plus 115, wherever you're getting odds on the Red Sox has some value here today. So I'm going to lean that way. Then in terms of the total, I also like the over in this game as we sit at 8.5. I think this one gets to 9 runs. And then our last game of the slate here, we have the Astros taking on the Blue Jays. Astros minus 111 now on most sportsbooks. The graphic is a little outdated, so they are now minus money. In terms of a total, we're looking at 9.5. Garcia's on the mound for them. Rough start to the year, 0-2 with a 7.7 ERA. Jose Barrios on the mound for the Blue Jays, 1-2 on the year with a 7.98 ERA. Neither one of these pitchers seem to be getting guys off, off the field, so I'm going to lean towards the over here. And then also this is another one where I think we're going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to be looking at Houston money line. They are still, minus 1.5 on the money line for plus 170 for the run line, excuse me. But their money line, again, minus 111. I don't entertain their run line, but what I do not mind is Toronto's run line. So we might be able to tween this one if we do like a Houston money line and then Toronto plus 1.5. I think this game sticks or stays somewhat relatively close here. Just like yesterday's game, I know the game, game 1 of this series was 9-2, but that was Houston playing balls out. Nice. But I do think this is a close game, guys. And that is going to wrap it up for the video. Hope you guys do enjoy. Again, hit that like button if you did. Catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.